Well, we've been telling you about tensions growing in Tijuana, Mexico, between the thousands of migrants that are arriving in the caravan and the people who actually live in Tijuana.
Tijuana people are scared. People are against the caravan, even at a larger rate than in California.
Our government has not taken control of these, what we call invasions.
Lo que dijo Donald Trump es verdad. Es una invasión.
Well, our next guest doesn't live too far from the border. She says now they know how Americans feel all the time. Fox Nation host Tomi Lahren joins us right now from California. Tomi, apparently a couple of days ago, hundreds of Mexican residents tried to storm one of the shelters there in Tijuana to protest the fact that they feel threatened by the migrants.
Well, listen, they're fed up, and they have every right to be fed up because any citizen of any nation should be upset and outraged when there's an invasion by foreigners into their country, people that have no respect for the rule of law, for sovereignty, for borders. So I absolutely understand their frustration, and I hope that my fellow Americans in California will look what's happening in Tijuana and understand that this is not something that we want to come into the United States either.
All right, let's talk about what's happening in Georgia. Brian was highlighting what was happening in that race down there. Brian Kemp, he is the governor-elect, but Stacey Abrams refused to concede. She says it wasn't fair. So now you have all these celebrities that are threatening to boycott. You have a boycott that state. Alyssa Milano, Ron Perlman, and Bradley Whitford. What's your reaction? We can actually show you some of the tweets. Look at this, Tommy. Alyssa Milano says, is the entertainment industry willing to support the economy of a totally corrupt state that suppresses democracy, where the winner isn't the best choice for the people, but the best schemer or crook? Ron Perlman, to all my friends who are studio and network executives, if you choose to shoot movies and TV in Georgia, don't bother to call me.
He has deleted that one, and then also one from Bradley Whitford. All right, what do you think, Tommy?
Well, first of all, the Democrats always call it unfair when they lose. So that's first and foremost what we need to understand. This is becoming a pattern with the Democratic Party. But furthermore, people like Alyssa Milano and others that you mentioned, what will we ever do if we don't have movies and TV shows by those creative geniuses? I don't know. I think I'm going to be okay. Right. But beyond that, it's really interesting that they want to lead some kind of a boycott against an entire state, because I think that they're forgetting that some of the people that did, in fact, vote the way that they wanted to live in the state of Georgia and probably would benefit from economic gains and jobs made in the state of Georgia. But I guess they don't care about any of that because it's all about their outrage. It's all about these continual losses. And it's pretty easy for them to tweet about things that they clearly don't understand.
There's a lot of movie and TV production, and it's not a lot of actresses. It's a lot of everyday grips, lighting people, blue-collar workers. And to Stacey Abrams' credit, she said, don't boycott, because you're going to hurt workers in Georgia, and that is self-destructive.
Tyler Perry has his big industry there.
Yeah, I mean, what are you talking about? Everything's boycott this, boycott that. Meanwhile, Nancy Pelosi is really fighting for her speaker life because she's had 17 Democrats come forward, sign a paper that says they will not support her as speaker. She's in trouble. She can afford to lose. Very few others as they try to find out exactly what the majority is in the House. Do you think this is just a head fake, or is she really in jeopardy of losing the gavel?
I think that she's nervous, but I don't think that she has a reason to be, because she has the money and she has the power. And eventually those that are just coming in will understand that and they will fall in line. I talked about this the other day on Fox and Friends. You can have as many challengers as you want come up, and they can do it for the headlines. They can do it to gain attention. They can do it to gain cheers from those who think like they do. And these are people that are on the far left. But at the end of the day, they're going to realize that they need that fundraising money. They need that power. Nancy Pelosi has that power. And I think that she's going to win yet again. But it really doesn't matter if it's Nancy or if it's one of these newcomers. This party is moving so far left, it's unrelatable to the American people. And they have a platform that really is a hollow one, and it rests on raising taxes, more regulation, and climate change committees. So at the end of the day, whether it's Nancy or someone else, it's still an empty bag as far as I'm concerned.
Well, now that they're the majority, they can't complain anymore. They've got to produce. All right, Tommy, thank you very much for joining us from the West Coast. Don't forget, folks, she's one of the hosts over at Fox Nation. Go to foxnation.com to sign up.
Right. She'll be starting on the 27th. Tomi Lahren, thanks.